These days, I feel like I've kind of lost my mojo in Go. Just my correspondence games. I mean, they're not going terribly or anything, but when I play, I feel a lot not so confident. I feel like I get into the thick of things and find issues before I'm able to see them come up. Where I think I went through a time earlier when I would be very measured in taking the right steps to make sure I am making the right moves and thinking about it and then predicting what would happen. I went through a phase where it felt like that. But now I feel a little bit like, oh, I'm playing quite messily, and there are mistakes here and there, and I'm kind of winging it, making things up as it goes. I feel like one of the experiences that I have quite frequently, and this isn't just recently, this one is something that I've kind of always seen, is not fully reading out a problem and narrowing my options and then finding solutions within those narrowed options. Does that make sense? Like, what you should do is read out a situation and then find out the optimal sequence and consider all the good and bad sequences in that variation. Instead, I only read like the ones that I want to read, like one or two of them, and then I decide that one of them, and I don't read it fully through. I decide that one of them I like, and I go for it, and I play the move that leads to that branch. And lo and behold, my opponent does a couple things unexpected that I hadn't read out. And then now I'm in this situation where I'm like, okay, well, I didn't exactly see what would happen if this would happen. And then I proceed to read it out. And then I say, okay, well, if this, and then the more, for lack of a better word, screwed I am, the more my reading brain turns on to amplify like how much like of the possibilities that I can juice from this situation. And sometimes it works. And that's why I'm rewarded for bad behavior. And if I win off of that, then it's like, oh, next time, why would my brain want to spend the extra energy to read everything out when I can just read on the fly and find solutions as the problems come up? Well, it's just not how you improve. I'm not going to get stronger that way. So I think that I want to try to become more measured. I feel like I've been winging things. I haven't been thinking things through enough. That quiet contemplation, I think that's a big skill in Go that I want to redevelop. You're just listening to Startpoint, the show about Go for Go fans away from the board. I feel like we haven't done one of these in a while. I'm going to do a Reddit review episode and look at some of the most popular stuff within the past month, discussing Go. And, obviously I'm not going to go over board positions and problems and things like that. I will talk mostly about what people have been saying about Go, questions that have been asked in the past month on Reddit. So the first post we have here, just a couple days ago, or well, maybe not a couple days ago, I don't remember when it was. How did you get rid of your bad habits in Go? Hi all, DDK here, asking for nice tips about getting rid of bad playing habits. The more I play, the more I realize what's holding me are my bad habits. Even though I'm getting better, I feel I'm still being held down by the following: rushing to get ahead of my opponent's groups while creating weaknesses, like one space jump or pushing my opponent's stones to the side, for example. I try to fix them later, but at best I lose tempo, and at worst, my opponents exploit them. Okay, that's one. Another one is get lost by my opponent or lose by my opponent's late invasions, often hopeless invasions. But he succeeds because I panic and play badly, losing dozens of points in the Yosei. Okay, got some things to say about that, but we'll keep going. Sometimes playing in my own area, trying to be solid or fix a weakness, while this is not necessary. This is because of because of point 2 of successful late invasions from the opponent. Alrighty. And then finally, trying to save a dead group, especially after a badly managed cut in the center, while it's clear 5 moves later that this is hopeless. Okay. I can see all I can see all that after reviewing my games, but during the game, I'm blind to them. Any practical recommendations to get rid of them, and maybe more I'll discover later. I know it's impossible to stop doing them all at once. Maybe I can improve one at a time and actively practice only one aspect during my next couple games. But in that case, how can I not forget that while playing? Thanks. So I feel like this player is going to go far. I think they have the right attitude about how to improve and looking back at your own games. So before I address some of these specific points, I think the overall thing I would say about this is that yes, you will notice that you're doing something wrong, and even though you recognize it in one game, it'll happen again the next game, and that's frustrating to you. Because it's like you're watching yourself fail and you're letting yourself fail. But I will tell you that I would say that more likely than not, you're going to develop based off of just noticing these things alone. I think when you learn something, one of the most important things to do is notice things that are happening or things that you are doing. It is when you don't notice things that you're doing that you cannot improve. But if you notice it, you will continue to have a better grasp on it. And I think that you will improve on all of these things that you've noticed. Even though you're seeing it from game to game happening, you're not going to see it happen right away, but you will see it within 10 games, 20 games, 50 games time, where that will no longer be a problem anymore. That's one point about stuff like this. Another point about it is that as you get stronger at the game of Go, you will, and by the way, this is from an 18Q, I think self-reported, they tagged. So just to let you know, I should have probably said that from the beginning. But as you get stronger in Go, you will learn new things that you don't know about. Does that make sense? Like, you don't know what you don't know. So as you get stronger, you will learn new concepts and new ways of winning and new techniques that will actually erase a lot of your other bad habits. Some of the bad habits you will fix just by playing more and learning not to do those things. Other bad habits will be erased because you will form new habits that effectively erase those bad habits. Okay, so let me address a couple of these individual points. So I wanted to say something about getting lost. Okay, losing by your opponent's late, hopeless invasions. But you know, they're hopeless deemed by you because it shouldn't work, I guess. But he succeeds. Your opponent succeeds because you're panicking and playing badly. So that's not really a bad habit, in my opinion. That's a matter of skill, right? If your opponent invades you, and it's not hopeless if they're able to survive there. It's hopeless at different levels, right? If it is a professional game and your opponent is trying to invade in that same way, then 100 million %, it's a hopeless attempt. You're not going to get past that pro. But if it's against you, clearly it works sometimes. So at your level, try hopeless invasions, right? Don't look at other games like that from stronger players and think you're mightier than them and say, like, I'm not going to do that invasion because it's not supposed to work. If it works at your level, it is not a hopeless invasion and you must do it. You must attack and prod and do those things. And don't think that they won't do that to you either. That panicking and playing badly is actually an essential skill and foundation for your next level. Don't turn away from it, and don't think that it's just a bad habit of panicking, right? It is an essential skill, and every time you lose one of those battles, you are building more of that skill into your Go play. Because trust me, every time someone does a hopeless invasion to you and you lose to it, you're going to get a little bit stronger at preventing those. And eventually those hopeless invasions will become actually hopeless invasions. And you will laugh at whoever tries to invade you in that way because you know you have the strength to prevent it. That panicking, I mean, there are legitimate situations where you might panic. But I think that's just that's a different kind of thing. I think you won't really see that as often. It's like a very once in a while type of thing. Whereas the hopeless invasions working is, I think it's a legitimate thing at different skill levels. At my skill level, there is a quote unquote hopeless invasion that a pro might see as hopeless, but I might not know how to defend against it, and it may work. That's going to be carried throughout all of Go, right? You're going to see that for your whole life. You're going to see these things tried that don't work, and yet it may work, and that's part of the beauty of the game, in my opinion. It doesn't actually have to work, and that's the thing. It's like you try to be too perfectionist and try to play proper Go too much sometimes, and you lose out on learning opportunities. Another comment about here, where you said you sometimes play in your own area trying to be solid or fix a weakness while it's not a necessary move, and then you lose because you're scared, right? You're scared of those invasions. There's a lot of different situations where this can apply. One of them being really that you are solid and that it would be a hopeless invasion and you're putting in those moves. Or maybe you did have an actual weakness there, right? I can't really know without seeing the game, but you might actually be having weaknesses, and other people might be saying that, yes, that you should fix that weakness because there is a weakness there. But you can't really tell without seeing the actual thing. But this is also another feeling you'll carry. This is something I deal with. If I have something strong or something that looks like it's alive, or something that looks like it's connected, or looks like it's going to be uninvadable, and yet I have that little bit of doubt, like, oh man, is there something possible there? I can be conservative and try to put a move down to solidify that, or I can risk it, right? And that balance is in so many things in Go that it's just permeates every aspect of the game, and I think that you're just gonna have to fine tune that. I think the thing is that the pros. Maybe I don't know how the pros think, but even the strongest of players, they will have this thing too where they're not 100% sure about whether something is solid or not, and they will also decide, am I going to invest a move here or not, or am I going to go more aggressive here? But the difference being is theirs is so fine-tuned and informed by all of their experience, versus you, who may be making a move that is very obviously not necessary, or doubting a move that is necessary. So that's just something, just pay attention to it, and you will continue to fine tune it as you keep developing your Go. One way that it will deepen and become kind of three-dimensional in terms of this skill is that you will start debating, is this necessary or not? From that, you will say, well, maybe it's not necessary, maybe it is, but I know that I can play this move, which will fix this weakness, but also attack my opponent. You will start adding purposes to moves, and that will help your game immensely, right? So if you're like thinking like, oh, I'm going to have to waste a whole move here in Gote to protect this group, and I'm not even sure I need it, well, do you see other benefits to that move? Or can you find a move that does the same thing, that does other things? Again, I thought the attitude of this player is very good in terms of trying to find their own mistakes. And I will read maybe just the top comment here. What was a big jump for me was realizing every move is important. I always analyze my games and noticed a pattern where my worst move was always the quickest one. So I'm now adding a few seconds of consideration even to the most obvious moves. As for bad habits and stone placement, I've simply become better at reading. I'm still considering the same bad moves, but I'm no longer playing them when they don't work. That had 18 upvotes. And yeah, I agree with all that. And like reading, don't underestimate reading. Like I said about the whole like, oh yeah, that's just a little like bad habit thing. No, that's Go. That's the skill of Go, is being able to handle those tiny situations with certainty and calmness and thorough reading. So keep at it. This was a good self-reflective question from a double-digit Q player. Next, we have how do you overcome fear of playing and losing? Yes, the age-old question. Hi, everyone. I'm still pretty new to Go around beginner level, and I've noticed something that's really holding me back. I'm hesitant to play games because I'm afraid of losing. It's not that I don't want to improve, but before I even start a game, I already feel this pressure. During the game, I get anxious about making mistakes, and sometimes I avoid playing altogether because I don't want to feel discouraged afterward. I know losing is part of learning, especially in Go, but emotionally it still feels tough. For those of you who've gone through this, how did you get over the fear of playing? How do you deal with the fear of losing? Are there any mindset shifts or habits that helped you enjoy the game more? I know this question has been posted multiple times before, but I'd really appreciate any advice, personal experiences, or even small tips that helped you. Thanks in advance. Well, this is something that I have definitely felt. I still probably feel it if I were to go up and queue. I would feel this pressure. I remember I used to actually queue up for games and hope that no game would be found. I would click the find match button, and while it was searching, I would be not on purpose and very consciously, but I knew there was a voice in the back of my head that was like, please don't find anyone. Please don't find anyone. Because I was kind of nervous about it. And I don't know what it is that causes this. It's kind of silly, right? It's just a game. And it's just something very human, I think. And it's something that a lot of people experience. For me, what has helped the most, I think the standard advice here is creating new accounts. I think that specifically addresses ladder anxiety. If you're scared of deranking on one account, then you stop playing because you just want to cherish the rank that you have, which is also not a great mentality. But if you want to break through that, one common piece of advice is to create another account so that you can just kind of mess with it and then you go back to the other one when you feel more comfortable. Sometimes people make that second account and then they just overtake that first account. And, that's fine too. But for me, I think the thing that has actually helped a lot is playing Go on the regular on a schedule. I'm thinking that this would be just as effective if you were to play once a week. But for me, I actually played every day for a while. And it was at a certain time every day, I played a game. And when that happened, the games were cheap. Games felt cheap. I didn't feel like I needed to prove anything. It was just your regular day of Go. This is a piece of advice I heard for art. Where if you're trying to learn to draw, right, what you will do is you will spend a lot of time on one drawing and you will admire it, right, for all your accomplishments, and you will look at it and you will kind of feel like you can't do it again sometimes. Sometimes you will really hesitate at that next blank page. And I don't know who said this, but somebody who was teaching art told me, that's cheap, right? Because your art is expensive because you have only drawn 10 things. So every time you draw something, it feels like a huge deal to do it, right? And you feel like you can't replicate it. You can't live up to your expectations. Every detail seems so important. But the goal is to make your art feel cheap. So draw so much that any given drawing is that's 1 out of thousands. Who cares if the nose is a little smudged in this one, right? Who cares if the color is a little bit off in this one? You've made thousands of pieces. What's the one little mistake and one in a sea of thousands? And by that time, you will have become a lot better at it, right? So if you draw more, then you will have more confidence to draw more. And that's kind of the way I feel is a good approach to go. Because if you play once in a while, once a month, that's your monthly game, right? That's your that's your April game. Like, man, what is my April game going to bring me? Is it going to bring me sorrow or joy for the month of April, right? Am I going to think about all the mistakes that I've made in this game for the rest of the month until I play another game, until I build up the courage to play another game in May? Whereas if you play multiple games a day, where you don't have to go that far, but if you play many games, it's like, whatever. Like, I played a game yesterday, I lost. I played a game, I lost 3 days in a row. Who cares? I lost the other day, I won today. That's just a very pressureless thing if you play it more regularly and just more often. So that's really been the thing, is like, I know that right now I haven't been playing live games as much, so I feel a little more nervous about getting back into it. But when I was playing every single day, it was just, at a certain point, it was just kind of like, yeah, it's time to have fun. Like, I'm going to play Go, right? It was just fun. And the other thing that helps me is going on different servers, trying them out. They all feel a little different. And the time settings, right? The time settings can definitely make a game more or less serious. So if you make a shorter time, don't go too short, obviously. But obviously if you feel like nervous about it, just bang one out. Just do like a 5-minute game, not a 5-minute game, but like a 5-minute main time game. So a lot of different techniques. Fear of losing specifically. I think I said in one podcast episode that if you lose, you learn. So welcome that feeling and don't lose on purpose, obviously, but don't be afraid of losing, because that is a learning opportunity. And you will have more to learn from those losing games than the winning games. So that's, I think, what I have to say about that. I know Go can be kind of an emotionally demanding game. So it's important for us to kind of keep ourselves in perspective, especially if you're on the opposite end of the spectrum and you're playing too much, you're playing every single day for hours and hours, and you don't know how to stop. Then that's another issue entirely. But it's important to zoom out a little bit and realize it's just a game. It's just a hobby for most of us. I don't think there's any pro players really listening to this, and even for the pros, right? A lot of the pros, it's still just a game, right? It's, it is a way to make a living, but there are other things in life besides Go. So you don't want to have to put too much mental strain on this game, but I hope that kind of helps anyone who is also going through the same thing. I think I did an episode about ladder anxiety a long time ago, if you guys want to try to look that up as well. Let me see the top comment with 32 upvotes. 15Q writes, what helped me was realizing I wasn't actually afraid of losing. I was afraid of feeling bad about myself after losing. Once I saw that, it got easier to separate the game from my ego. Okay. Well, that makes sense to me, to say that you're not afraid of losing, but you're afraid of feeling bad about yourself after losing. But they also sound kind of synonymous, right? Like, well, yeah, obviously losing the game, it doesn't actually hurt me. It's the feelings. It's the feelings that suck, right? How do I turn off my feelings, right? Is that why if you're kind of like a stoic, you're gonna do better at this game? I don't know, but yeah, I think it's you got to do some mental training to kind of that's part of the thing that is so demanding about Go, is that it does not only demand like 110% of your intellect, but it also demands your character, your emotional maturity, and all that. And it's a deep game. So moving on to the next Reddit post, feeling less stuck. So it looks like a more optimistic thing. I'm the one that picked up Go again after a long lapse, having moved to Japan and found a local kaikan. I do not know what a kaikan is. Is that like a Go study dojo or something? Anyway, it's been 4 months of steady play and study. I found the local players to be overwhelmingly welcoming and supportive. I visit the kaikan and also attend a class at a community center each weekly. Books I'm working through are the second book of Go, The Basics of Life and Death, and Encyclopedia of Go Principles. Of course, Go Magic and Sumego are there for evening study. Wow, this person is intense. 3 books and Go Magic courses and Sumego. Wow, that's a lot of Go. I typically play a mix of 13 and... what? I typically play a mix of 13 and 19 games with or without handicap. Okay, so I thought for a second this person was playing 13 to 19 games a day. I think they're talking about 13 by 13 and 19 by 19. So they switch off between 13 by 13 and 19 by 19 with or without handicap. Okay. I play a wide variety of opponents. The first month was spent hammering out some terrible habits, and I'm still in the phase of building good habits. I regularly make mistakes, but I'm catching them a stone or sooner than previously. Sometimes I win a local fight. More often, I successfully build territory rather than fight without a plan. Rarely, I win against another student a little above my level. What I want to celebrate today is that it feels like some of the key principles are sticking together in a way that makes broader strategic sense. I felt pretty overwhelmed early on because learning basic tools was easy, but putting those tactics together seemed like it might always be a mystery. This weekend was the first time it felt like I could see how the board was developing and had some say in the flow of the game. I'm heartened to get to know the game at a better level. It's small, but I'm glad. Enjoy it, my friend. I think that the feeling of improvement is matched by nothing, right? Like the feeling of realizing that you're stronger and Go, like where have you felt that experience somewhere else? It's so unique, that feeling of just improving and just knowing that you're better. And you know, there are a lot of things where you can experience this, right? You can experience this in a lot of variety of hobbies and games, and sports and things like that. But Go is different. It feels different. Like the mystery of the Go board, that you look at it and then you see a certain thing and you don't see many other things. And then looking at the board again after you've progressed and knowing that you see it differently and then that internal change has happened, it has such a different, amazing feeling. And it's one of the greatest feelings I've ever felt. So I'm really happy that this person has, experienced this and found this harmonious synthesis of all of the things that they've been learning. And of course, that's going to make you want more, right? That's going to make you thirst for more. And it gets harder and harder as you climb. And so if you are a budding beginner player, enjoy those moments, right? Those moments are so precious, and keep fighting for the next one, and enjoy the next one as well. Because one day you will find that it has been a while since you felt that. So I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but yeah, that's the thing. You know, that's the thing that really pulls you in about Go. Let me read the top comment here. That's one great thing about Go, the feeling of enlightenment you get. As you progress, you'll get it again and again and again, seemingly without end. The stronger you become, the more time and work it takes, but it's still there. We're in Japan. I'm in Saku, Nagano. Okay, well, yes, that's a more optimistic way of putting it than I did. It's still there. It's still there for me. It's available for me. If I just want it, I have to just put in the time and the work. And it's there. It's waiting for me. But alas, I am weak, and and I am still here for now, but I will get there one day. Next, we have an interesting post. Adjusting from Japanese to AGAQ rankings, 3 stones was not enough. After consulting here on our baduk, I advised my Japanese colleagues to register his children for their first AGA tournament as 3 stones weaker than the level that they had been told they were in Japan, and he took my advice. They got slaughtered. Ooh, interesting. So, from what I'm seeing, this person or this Japanese colleague had children who had been told they were a certain rank when they were in Japan, and when they wanted to compete in the AGA, they registered as 3 stones weaker than that, but that was still too weak. Okay, I have a lot of questions, but let me keep going. Here are the results for the 4 rounds. Age 8, 13Q in Japan, registered as 16Q. Lost to AGA 18Q, giving 2 handicap stones. Lost to AGA 15Q, getting no komi. Lost to AGA 15Q, getting no komi. Won against AGA 25Q, giving 9 handicap stones. Wow. Age 14, 5Q in Japan. Registered as 8Q. Arrived late, missed the first 2 rounds. Lost to AGA 8Q. Lost to AGA 10Q, giving 2 handicap stones. Okay, so that one, I wouldn't call it a slaughter, but just lost against that same rank, because 8Q giving 2 stones is a 10Q. Age 16, 7Q in Japan, registered as a 10Q in the AGA. Lost to the AGA 10Q, lost to the AGA 7Q, receiving 3 handicap stones. Lost to the AGA 13Q, giving 3 handicap stones. Lost to AGA 12Q, giving 2 handicap stones. Okay, so all the matches were even matchups, like if you account for the handicap stone exchange, but this person lost every single one, which is probably not like a likely outcome if you're properly a 10Q. Age 19, 10Q in Japan, registered as 13Q. Lost to AGA 12Q, getting no komi. Lost to AGA 15Q, giving 2 handicap stones. Lost to AGA 15Q, giving 2 handicap stones. And lost to AGA 20Q, giving 7 handicap stones. That one's a pretty telling one, I feel. 13Q giving 7 handicap stones to 20Q. I find that personally, when you have the large discrepancy games and then the weaker rank is in the 20Q area, the stronger players should be able to take the win, because, at a certain point, your strength, like if you're at a 20Q level, you can only take advantage of like so many handicap stones. Like, if you have tactical deficiencies, like a stronger player will exploit them like time after. I've actually done that at a tournament game where I gave quite a few handicap stones. It was overwhelming. It was kind of intimidating. I gave a lot of handicap stones to the other player. I think it was like 6 stones or something. And I felt kind of scared because of the board. But I was able to just kind of, tactically exploit different areas. And it was just a solid win for me. Okay, but looking at all these results, it looked like I'm gonna assume this is like an actual like Neon Keen ranking. I can't imagine they had some uncle tell them like, you're a 7Q, you're a 10Q, right? Right, and because of that. And this person also already had the wisdom to say that the AGA ranks are stronger, but the results here. So one of these people, like one of these kids losing all their games might be kind of like, look, there could be evidence that the AGA ranks are a lot stronger, but you could have also had a bad game. You're just, I don't know, there could have been other things happening. But the fact that all of these kids lost every game except for the 13Q giving 9 handicap stones against the 25Q. This tells me that for sure there is some kind of discrepancy between, and that is a greater than 3 stone discrepancy between AGA and Japanese ranks. Let me continue reading here. That's 11 out of 12 games lost. I feel quite bad that my advice led to such a result. I'm sharing the results here so that others can avoid making the same mistake. Clearly, it would have been much better to add 4 or 5 stones to their Japanese rank when registering for their first AGA tournament. I should note that the difference between Japanese and AGA rankings is much smaller once you get above the Japanese 1-dan level. The 1-dan level has been devalued in Japan through social pressure, but not many people push on to 2D, so the gap between 1-dan and 2-dan is unusually large. That's weird. As it happens, there was another Japanese young woman playing her first AGA tournament. She's 4 dan in Japan and registered as 4 dan for the tournament. Results: loss, win, loss, loss. Respectable. Perhaps registering as a 3 dan would have been better, but she did beat an AGA 4 dan fair and square in an even game in the second round. She certainly didn't need anything like a 4-stone adjustment. Okay, fair enough. But this kind of begs the question, what question does it beg? Well, I think that maybe it doesn't beg any question, but it is where the Americans or the Westerners can actually feel like they have an edge above the Eastern Go players, because I mean, the Eastern Go players are dominant in the scene, right? We don't see the Western names up there in the top tournaments, so we might as well win on these amateur games. I don't know. This is kind of interesting. Why did the rankings get so wonky? What is going on here? Is it just Japan? Like, if you were to do this with Korea or China, would it have similar results? I would assume that Japanese ranks will be similarly analogous to the Korean and Chinese ranks, because those countries are commonly in discussion with one another. So you're gonna, know about discrepancy and adjust accordingly, right? Because like we kind of know here from the States how we relate to the European. The EGF is actually even stronger if you look at like a 2Q versus a 2Q. The EGF 2Q I think is supposed to be stronger than the American 2Q. But we kind of know a little bit, right? Because we kind of, we're overseas, so we don't play often, but we kind of have some kind of experience talking about it. But we kind of look at Japanese rankings, for example, and we kind of have no idea, right? We kind of have no idea how strong those are. But if you look at Japan, China, Korea, they're all going to be kind of communicating with each other, playing with each other, in sync with each other, and they have the servers and stuff. So I don't know. This is weird. If this discrepancy is happening, should we make adjustments? Like, what's going on here? The thing is that ranking is relative, right? So a lot of us have maybe set a rank as a goal, like 1 dan is a common goal. But it's not really a fixed thing. The community actually gets stronger and the population of the community changes. So what was 1 dan 20 years ago will not be 1 dan today. And that's just the reality of these ranks, because the ranks are relative to the population. It's not like objective measurement of, it's not like your height, right? You can't just, the ruler from today from the ruler from yesterday. I don't know if there's some manufacturing differences that causes an inch to be different on one ruler than another. But I know that it's going to be almost the same, right? And with things like Go rankings and ELO, we just can't guarantee that. We have our current population, and the way we organize ourselves with our ranks within our population of Go players is the way it is. But you move 200 years to the future and everybody's different. They have their own community and they have their own ranks. But this is why it's so hard to compare the likes of Shinjinso to Honninbo Dosaku, right? We just can't. Everyone has a different context. But this kind of does raise the question, like, should we have an internationalized ranking system? The game of Go is far from unified. We have multiple rule sets. And then we have all these organizations. If you look at chess and look at the way they've organized themselves, although there are many complaints about FIDE, it is an international organization that aims to kind of standardize everything. And I wish Go would have that eventually. But this is an interesting thing. Top comment here. Yeah, the Japanese have much weaker ranks. I'm a solid 3Q AGA, but in Japan, I magically jumped up to 2 dan, no problem. It is what it is. It's kind of what it is, right? It is what it is. But I like the idea of, maybe not I like the idea. I mean, I do feel bad for these kids because they're just kids. But imagine like going to the States and thinking like, oh yeah, the Westerners, they don't know about Go, right? They don't know our game of Go. And then you go sit down and you play the same rank and you just get clobbered. And it's like, oh man, these guys are strong. I like that idea. I like the idea of having some presence here in the West because we do lack it in the Go community. So that was a very interesting thing. And so I'd like to think that I'm a Japanese 1 Dan. So I'm gonna stick with that story, or Japanese 2 Dan, according to this this commenter here, because I'm a 3Q AGA actually. All right, I think we'll do one more and then we'll call it here. Does Fox have a ton of bots in the queue? I keep getting matched against players with generic names like V177170415 that have 30,000 games played in 3 years, play all of their moves in the same 2 seconds, don't ever take more time to think in complicated fights, etc. I would say almost 50% of my games are like this at 8Q. Depending on what I am playing, these accounts play games seemingly every hour of every day, so they can't be humans, I think. I often can win if I try to avoid any kind of fighting, settle groups quickly, and hope the bot randomly plays some small, inefficient moves. But I find it a bit boring, and it's not how I would play against someone I knew was a human who could struggle in a complicated position. Is there any alternative server for fast games? I usually play slower time control games on OGS, but can't seem to find the faster games. Or will it maybe get better as I rank up? I'm OGS 5Q, so I believe that I can climb at least a few ranks higher on Fox if it would fix the issue. This is a common question. So when you play on Fox, you will encounter a lot of V number names. And if you look at them, they have 30,000 games. They have like so many games. And especially when they're so bad at the game, sometimes you wonder like, what have you spent your life doing? A lot of common explanations for this being that these are accounts set up at Go parlors where random people go in and play on the computer, or for children, right? So they have children. And I think the other part of it is that you may feel like a bot is playing because of how fast they're playing. I think there may be a different culture over there where you don't have to necessarily think so long for complicated fights. And the culture is more of a grindy, like arcade style thing where you just play Go, you just click the stones and try to win. And so you might find more people also angry at you for taking too long because it's like, just play, right? We're just playing a game, right? It's kind of like that kind of e-sport mentality. I myself have been playing on Fox for a while, and I never, ever suspected playing against a bot. I think that if you play enough against bots, right, you'll know the kinds of moves they make. Not just the amount of time they take and how many games they look like they've played in the past, but the type of move, like things just won't make sense to some AI. And I think it's kind of obvious. And especially when you play against these players and at the end they start making petty moves, you're like, this is 100% a human being, right? That's when you know. So, I don't think there are bots on Fox that, not many at least. I've never encountered them. So, but your experience might be different from mine. You might have actually encountered a bot, but or maybe the times have changed and maybe there are bots now. But for me, I don't think so. Top comment here: the V accounts are frequently generated by people who log into Fox via WeChat. WeChat is the largest social network in China. It is government approved, and people use WeChat for everything. So it is very normal to expect that a lot of people log into Fox this way. It is likely that some of these accounts are bots, but it is very hard to tell. As for 30,000 games in 3 years, that is a lot of games, but don't underestimate how much Go can be played by a 20-year-old or a 12-year-old with a ton of time on their hands, only playing splits and not analyzing their games. This is about 30 games a day, which does seem like a lot, but I can see 10 games a day actually being a thing. So I mean, like, okay, valid explanations, but I still think the more likely thing is the club account thing. Where, or I don't know, maybe, actually there can't be that many clubs, right? It can't be so many that they outnumber the number of people going on to WeChat to play online. So I don't know. Yeah, you might be right. It's just a lot of people just playing all the time. Okay, well, that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed these little Reddit reviews, and I enjoyed the discussions myself. So thank you for listening. That is one thing that I wish Go could feel a little more casual sometimes. I think I've mentioned this before, but Fox feels more casual just because of the way the players play. I just feel, I don't know if it's just in my head, but when I look at a game in Fox and I'm playing against someone who's on Fox, it feels more casual. The way they approach the game, the way they click their moves down, the pace of it just feels different from when I go on like something like OGS. It just feels like a little more pressure on OGS. I don't know. Maybe it's just my head, but I just feel like there's a different culture there, even without speaking a single word. And I kind of wish Go was more casual. I just wish people could play more Go without taking it so seriously and just kind of play for fun and play as a casual hobby. And I kind of want to bring it back, but it is also the length factor, and the fact that it's a 19x19 board is always some time commitment. But really, like on Fox, like it takes like 40 minutes, honestly, with the 5-minute main time setting. So I really shouldn't complain and really get back to playing. I will let you guys know if I play a game ever, because I have not been. Just the correspondence, obviously, that keeps me linked to the Go world as well as this podcast. But now it's time for the DDK Advice Corner, and the tip of the day is, let them think it was their idea. Well, this one is a little bit of a sneaky tip, but sometimes you want to play a sneaky move that will collapse their entire group or something like that. But if you play the sneaky move, it's too obvious. Like they'll look at the move and be like, "What are you trying to do here?" And they'll see what you're trying to do and they'll defend against it. And you don't want that. So leave it alone, go somewhere else, wait for them to play something that prompts you to play that move instead. So let's say you have a move that if they don't respond to it, then they're doomed. Well, don't play that move just yet. Wait until they play something around there where that move suddenly becomes something that makes sense for you to play. Then you play that move, then your opponent will think, well, looks like I've got Sente again because you responded to my move, and they may not see that little sneaky move there that you put in. So let them think that the move that you play was their idea, that you're playing in Gote, and maybe you will get away with that collapse. Don't tell anyone I told you this tip because it's a sneaky low-level tip. But now it's time for listener mail. Martin writes, very short comment. Episode 118, 10 out of 10 joke. I thank you very much. Thank you, and I'm glad that you enjoyed that joke. Episode 118. If you guys don't know, you guys leave before the end of this episode, or like you leave before the end of Starpoint while I'm doing that big long spiel about social media and listener mail and sponsors and stuff. You're missing out. There's jokes, and I might be running out, but every episode, since I don't know which one, I've been making a joke at the end of the episode, and apparently Martin enjoyed episode 118's joke, and I'm quite proud of that joke myself. So if you haven't checked it out, go and listen to it. Thank you, Martin. And then Sadaharu writes, I'm not sure whether you consider it a Go journal, but back when I used to record Kifu on paper, I would write down the review points as well, especially those that have been reviewed by a teacher. I think that helped a lot in my improvement. It helps you consolidate what you learned from that game and thus increases the chances that you'll remember it in your next game. Nowadays, everything is digital, so I don't record on paper anymore, but I still keep game records with variations and comments with the help of AI. You've reminded me of one of my favorite things to do in Go, which is store SGFs and keep paper Kifus, because I actually really like just the feeling and look of recording a game on paper. Also have a couple Kifu notebooks, and I also like SVG, or not SVG, but SGF files. and having all the annotations there and all the variations written out and just kind of making it my own. I love all that stuff. And I guess that kind of counts as a Go journal, and you could maybe be inspired to put more than just your game review points, but also some context about what the game felt like and what you went through, and you could do whatever you want. That's the beauty of it. And I do that with some of the paper ones. I write a little note about the context of the match as well, which is also really cool. That's something I really love about the game. Just, I don't know what it is. It's just like the librarian in me or something. I love keeping those archives. I still have a bunch of my annotated reviews on my computer here. And so thank you again for writing in, Sadaharu. Question of the week this week is, do you have bad habits that you want to get rid of in Go? Do you experience ladder anxiety, or do you feel like the Go game is it kind of looms over you, and you feel the pressure to win, and you don't feel like it's easy to queue up? Let me know about those thoughts and commiserate with me on those things, and see if we can find a way out of that rut. And if you want to share that with me, or you have something else to share about Go, leave a comment wherever you found this episode, or email me directly at startpointbaduk@gmail.com. That's startpointbaduk@gmail.com. If you're a YouTube listener, I would greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. If you're a podcast listener, reviews and ratings also help. A special thank you to James B., Brendan S., Tristan, Jeff H., Tyraniton, and Andrew P. for supporting Starpoint. If you want to support the show in any capacity, you can go to ko-fi.com/starpointbaduk, that's KO-FI, or check out the Starpoint store at store.starpointbaduk.com, and come on over to the Discord. The link is in the description. Here's the promised Go joke. A Go player walks into a bar. The bartender asks, "So what do you do?" The Go player says, "I play Go." The bartender says, "Never heard of it," as he wipes his glass. Then they spent the rest of the evening talking about other things. Thanks for listening. Keep playing Go.